Hello students, myself Maitri Dave, and today we are going to discuss one important topic which is all about important consideration and technical terms for doors and windows. But let us begin with the introduction part of the doors and windows. So what is a door? So we can define a door as an openable barrier secured in the opening left in a wall for the purpose of providing access to the users of that particular structure. So we can say it generally consists of two parts, namely the frame and the shutter, where the door shutter is held in position by the door frame, which is in turn is fixed in the opening of the wall by some suitable means. While I talk about the window, we can define it as an opening made in a wall for the purpose of providing daylight, vision and the ventilation. It is also like door but consists of two parts like frame and shutter. The concept is same for the door and window, but here window frame is suitably fixed in the opening of the wall and window shutter is held in position by the window frame. That is the quite different. So here this is the brief introduction of the doors and windows. Now let us see what are the important considerations for doors and windows. So we can say the purpose, the size, the location, the material and the other requirements. So here let us start with the purpose first. So the main function of door in a building is to serve as a connecting link between the various internal parts. The number of doors in a room should be kept minimum due to the fact that the more number of doors will cause obstruction and reduce the effective usable carpet area of that particular room. The windows are generally provided to give the light and ventilation both to the interior part of the buildings. When the windows are provided for the purpose of light only, as in case of storage room or the showrooms, they may be fixed so that they cannot be open. But when windows are provided for light and ventilation, some of the portion of windows must be open, right? This can be achieved by providing suitable hinges at the top, bottom or at the sides. Now let's see the next consideration, which is size. So in general, door should have such dimensions as will allow the movement of the largest object likely to use the door. The minimum width for interior doors, external doors and the doors in public buildings such as hospitals and libraries, etc. are 800 mm, 1 meter and 1.20 meter respectively. Particularly in India, we can say some rules are there for the height and width of the door, which says height should be equal to width plus 1 meter, or we can say up to maximum 1.2 meter we can add to that particular width. Now what is width? Width should be of 0.4 to 0.6 of that height. So the size of window generally depends on the dimension of the room, use of the room, location of the room, direction and the speed of the wind, obstruction to light by neighboring buildings and the trees, dry bulb temperature, relative humidity, climate conditions of that region particular, right? So here few rules are there again for the windows, where we can say the breadth of window is equal to width of room plus the height of room. For 30 meter cube inside contents of the room, there should be at least 1 meter square window opening. The total area of the window opening should be at least 15% of the floor area of that particular room. The total area of glass panels in the window opening should be at least 10% of the floor area of the room. For public building, the provision of window opening should be more than above requirements, right? Because the number of people will be higher than the normal residential area. Now there are some size chart which is recommended by BIS. So we can say the BIS recommended dimensions for doors. Here you can see a list where the designation is look like 8DS20, 8DS21, which is increased by 9DS20, 9DS21, then after 10DS and 12DS. Accordingly, their size of opening and size of frame changes. It means it is simply increasing by the designation increasing, right? So that is for doors. Now let us see for the windows. So here you can see the designation says 6WS12, 12, right? Then after 6WS12, then the 10WS12 and 12WS12. Again, in the end, we can increase it up to 13. So 6WS13, 10WS13 and 12WS13. So accordingly the size and their frame sizes varies. So how to understand this designation? So the height of opening of a door is considered from below the floor finish to the bottom of the lintel. In the designation for door, the letter D, S and T represent respectively doors, single shutter and the double shutters. For instance, the designation 9DS20 denotes a door opening having width equal to 9 modules, it means 900 mm, and height equal to 20 modules, it means 2000 mm. The door is with single shutter, while when I say 12DT20, which denotes where 12 modules having 1200 mm and height equal to 20 modules is equal to 2000 mm, and here the door is of 2 shutter. That is why it is designated in such a way. For designation of the window, the letters W, S and T represent the respectively window, single shutter and the double shutter. For instance, the designation 6WS13 denotes a window opening with single shutter having a width equal to 6 modules. It means 600 mm and height equal to 13 modules, 1300 mm. In a similar way, the designation of 12WT12 denotes a window opening with 2 shutters having width and height each equal to 12 modules, 1200 mm. That is all for the size. Now let us move to the location. So the doors and windows are generally located by the architect of the building. So there are some general rules which are observed while deciding the location of the doors and windows, where the first rule says the door should preferably be located near the corner of the room at a distance of about 200 mm from the corner. The sill of the window opening should preferably located at a height of 700 mm to 800 mm from inside of the floor level, and the factors such as distribution of light, control of ventilation, prevalent direction of wind, privacy, etc. should be considered in the location of windows. The doors and windows should be located by keeping in view the interior decoration and the functional requirement of the room, right? That is all for the location. Now let's move to the materials. So here the usual material for door and window are wood, grass, plywood and the metals. When I talk about the wood, it is the most common material for the doors and windows, as it can be molded in a variety of shapes and can thus present a decent appearance. The glass is used for panels to admit more light, and the plywood can be used as a covering material. But when I talk about the metals, such as aluminum and steel are now commonly used, especially for the windows. At places where the wood is likely to be attacked by vermins, the RCC frame may be provided for doors and windows, right? Now we can say the traditional wooden door shutters have inevitable problems of wrapping, rotting, painting and maintenance. They cannot therefore be considered suitable for bathrooms, toilets and kitchens where the water contact is continuous. So the PVC is the wonder material from the plastic family and is used as door shutter is becoming popular because it provides total protection against the corrosion, moisture, termites and the chemicals. So the PVC door shutters are made from the multi-cavity hollow chamber sections and they are manufactured on computer-aided machines under stringent quality control, right? Now let's see some of the advantages of use of PVC for doors and windows. As I said, they are rust-proof, rot-proof, termite-proof and waterproof. They can unaffected by the coastal saline air, dry heat, sub-zero temperatures or tropical rains. They do not fade, corrode, flake or wrap and consequently require no maintenance. All that is needed is an occasional cleaning with ordinary soap and the water. They provide an alternative to the wood. They provide better thermal insulation and may be considered as ideal for air-conditioned and the heated rooms. They restrict dust penetration through opening and hence prove ideal for operation theaters, computer rooms, food processing plants, electronic factories and pharmaceutical plants. Now let's see the last consideration, which is other requirements. So here for other requirements we can say the provision of doors and windows should also be made from the various other considerations such as the safety and entry of moisture, right? The glazed shutter of an external door should be provided with steel grill of suitable design. Similarly, the opening of all external windows, especially those on ground floor, should be covered up by steel bars or grill of appropriate pattern. The shutters of external windows should open outside so as to check the entry of rainwater inside the room. The weather shades or projection of suitable material should be provided to all external doors and windows to prevent the entry of rainwater inside the building. And lastly, the window must also provide insulation against heat loss and in some cases against the sound also. Some windows are also required to give facility to resisting a fire also, right? So that's all for this other requirement, and these all are the important consideration of doors and windows. Now let us move to the next topic, which is all about technical terms of doors and windows. So here the first term is frame, which consists of a group of members which form a support for a door or window. You can see in this picture. Second is this style. This is the outside vertical member of the shutter of a door or a window, right, as shown in this figure. Next is the head. So the top or the uppermost horizontal part of a frame is known as the head, while the lowermost part or the bottom horizontal part of a window frame is known as the sill level. So the door frames are usually not provided with the sills. Next is the top rail. It means this is the topmost horizontal member of the shutter, right? Now the sixth one is the lock rail. This is the middle horizontal member of the shutter where the locking arrangement is provided, which is actually shown in this picture. Now next is the bottom rail. This is the lowermost horizontal member of the shutter. Next is the intermediate or the cross rails. So the additional horizontal rails fixed between the top and the bottom rail of the shutter are known as the intermediate one. A rail which is fixed between the top and lock rail is also known as the phrase rail, right? Next is the panel. So this is the area of shutter enclosed between the adjacent rails. Next is the hold fast. So this is generally in the form of a mild steel flat bar of section 30 mm by 6 mm of the length 200 mm. They keep the frame in position. Next is the horn. So this is the horizontal projection of a head or sill beyond the face of the frame, which facilitates the fixing of the frame on the wall opening, and its length is about 100 to 150 mm, right? Next is the shutter. So the entire assembly of the stile, panels and rails is known as the shutter. Next is the mullion. It means this is the vertical member which is employed to subdivide a window or a door opening vertically, right? You can see in this picture. Next is the sash. It means this is the special type of frame made of a light sections and designed to carry glass. A sash consists of two vertical stiles, a top rail and a bottom rail. And a sash can be divided vertically as well as horizontally by providing the bars. These bars are known as the sash bars or the glazing bars, right? Next is the transom. So this is a horizontal member which is employed to subdivide a window opening horizontally, right? Next is the lower. This is a piece of timber which is fixed in an inclined position within a frame. Next is the jamb, the vertical wall face of an opening which supports the frame of door and window is known as the jamb. Next is the rivet. It means what? The external jamb of the door or a window opening at a right angle to the wall face is known as the rivet, right? Next is the rivet. It means the depression or recess made inside the door frame to receive the door shutter is known as the rivet. Next is the putty. This is a mixture of linseed oil and whitening chalk. It is used for fixing the glass panels, right? Next is the architrave. It means this is a strip of a wood usually molded which is fixed around the sides and the heads of the opening. It thus helps in giving a decent appearance to the joints of frame with masonry. It is used only when doors and windows are placed flush with the face of masonry. So that's it for the technical terms of the doors and window. I hope you all understand this topic in detail. Thank you for watching this video. See you soon in the next lecture.